welcome to Set Life. I'm Amber Buteau, and this is
Kelley Leger.
And today we're sitting with a dear friend of yours.
Yes.
Today.
Pauliina Meli, producer, the one and only.
Wow. Hello.
Yeah, thanks for coming and sitting with us and sharing your story and allowing us into your world and this industry. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And I know you and Kelley have done just all kinds of stuff together.
Yeah.
So this is like getting the kids back together, like the old friends back together.
This is a family affair. This is like gathering around the living room, telling stories. And so I have known... Buckle up, Buttercup. That's right. I have known this lady, Pauliina Meli, for a long time. I always say, if I know somebody forever, I'm like, I've known her 100 years. So I've known her 100 years. And she has been my producing partner in the world of commercial production, advertising agency work for many, 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 many years. We work with some of the biggest advertising agencies, some of the biggest brands on the planet for a long time, corporate clients as well. So we'll just kind of see how we dive into all these things. But
it was a mix.
It was a mix.
It's been a mix.
Yeah. So we have our agency work. We've been talking, you'll hear us talk on different podcasts about our agency work, sometimes directly to corporate clients, but most of our work has been with advertising agencies.
Yep.
So as a production company, meeting with an advertising agency who would give us storyboards for a commercial. Let's say Asics shoes was one of them, came to us, and they'll give us exactly what they want to shoot. And we're there to execute it. Maybe we have a specific vision for that project. Here's how we shoot it. We would give them a treatment or an idea of how we want to shoot it, and then they'd hire us, and we'd come in and shoot it. And
so a lot of the creative in that case is already done.
A lot of the creative is already done. It's not like us having a corporate client like we're, recently I'm thinking of like a black label. Let's say there's comes to us and says, can you produce this video first? There's no advertising agency between. It's production company directly to a client. Yeah. And they want you to come and do everything. So now you're doing the writing, you're doing the creative, you're taking all their brand information and you are writing and putting it all together. And then also executing it. And in some times actually putting it on air for them, buying media or something like that,
Yeah, which we've done a lot of that too.
We did a lot of that too.
So that's what y'all done together so much. But tell me about you. How did you get into this industry? How did you, get working with Kelley, meet Kelley? And maybe even before Kelley, were you in the industry, not in the industry? Like, what brought you to this?
Make sure you tell them about your Russian background.
No comment.
Okay, I have to clarify this statement. So this is
which way to go with that one.
This is a fun known fact. It's one of those cultural funnies, right? So Pauliina is originally from Finland, and the Finns and the Russians kind of have a little, going on. And so I'm always messing with her about being from Russia, and all this. So anyway.
Yes. Yeah. So I literally had no background in film and television, none. And actually didn't even have any interest in it either, to tell you the truth, none whatsoever. Yeah. And then, but we lived in San Diego at the time. And me and my husband became very good friends with Kelley. And we ended up just basically being spending together every day together, basically, outside of work, we were always hanging
family,
out. Yeah, we were family. And then Kelley did production, and then he would just throw little hints of oh, you'd be such a great producer. And I'd be like, whatever.
Yeah.
But for a long time, I'm always saying, man, you'd make a great producer. You make a great producer. You make a great producer.
Yeah. And it was in and out the same year, whatever. And
mainly she would make a great producer because we'd always change our plans last minute, and she'd always be upset about it. Because the producer wants to keep it on schedule. I'm like, you make a great producer. It's kind of backhanded compliment all those years, but really.
I was convinced it was because of that, but apparently it wasn't.
It wasn't that.
Apparently it wasn't. But that's true, though. Him and my husband were always we were going to do this, and then we weren't. And then I'm like, I have to adjust everything.
Yep.
Planner. So anyways, we were sitting at Starbucks actually just one afternoon and just having a conversation. And out of the blue, Kelley asks me and my husband, both of us, if you want to start a production company together? And out of my, I would say, heart, my spirit comes yes. And my head is like, what did you just say? Like,
right?
No, you don't. You do not.
Yes.
I heard it.
Right? But I'm like, okay, I recognize the place where it came from. It didn't come from my intellect. It came from my heart. Like, okay, let's just sit on that for a while. And I probably prayed about it and thought about it for like several months. And because I just, once I commit to something, I committed. I just don't, jump into things randomly.
It's true.
So I did take a long time to think about it, but I felt peace and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then when I decided, okay, let's do this. And he had been involved in a production company before, and you probably know that part. But was in a season where he was doing more directing, but wanted to start taking on the production world, like actually as a production company, but just couldn't do it by himself. And then was looking for, help in that. So I knew nothing.
Yeah.
And I think you know a little bit about that.
Yep.
I knew nothing.
Setting those shares.
Yeah, exactly. And I just started reading. And while I was praying, I read some books and just, watched some BTS, what I could, behind the scenes footage. You can kind of get a little bit of an idea.
Sure.
I don't think I ever even came on a set. I think my husband did. But
yeah, I think you're right.
But yeah, I never did. And then literally my first time on set was when I was producing it.
Yeah.
When we produced a big shoot, like a 3-day shoot together.
Yeah, it was big.
And just thrown in the deep end.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I concur.
Sometimes that's the best way to learn. I think, in certain industries, it's really important for you to consume books and the technical side of it and all that kind of thing. Well, let's just say my husband just got his private pilot's license, and the amount of schooling and technical things you've got to learn before you ever get in the plane is astronomical.
Right.
Okay, I mean, we're talking hours and hours and hours before you're flying the plane. In the creative world, we are doers in the sense that you're always I can make this from that, but you're doing it and learning it at the same time. So even if you were to read it, doing it is the way you learn this industry. Being on, and I think that's why being a PA to start gets you in the world, so to speak.
In fact, you saying that, I have probably never hired somebody based on their resume. Show me your resume. Where'd you go to school? I've never once asked a crew member that or a cinematographer. I have said, let me see your reel.
See your work.
Let me see, what did you do? What have you done?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Because as to speak to that point, it's about,
And this is maybe jumping ahead, but as a producer, we would always think of, are they our kind of people?
That's true.
You know, so we would kind of value a certain atmosphere on set
100%.
and so we wanted certain type of people to work with us, so people that would not have bad attitudes, wouldn't be cussing and just that would be a pleasure to work with.
That's
and
right.
those aren't, we always all of the people we work with are those kind of people.
I mean, to this day we gravitate toward that environment. It's just nobody wants a toxic, weird environment to work in every day. And there's people who literally hate their jobs and are just kind of getting through life. We didn't, that wasn't us.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to be around those people.
Well, and when you can set that, as a producer, it is part of your task to kind of set that culture because you are the one overseeing and putting all the project together.
That's true.
So you have the ability to pay attention to that, or you have the ability to just go, no, you, I just need to get a job done.
Right. Correct.
That's the difference in different types of producers.
Yep.
And I don't know that one's more successful than the other than it's just a preference in the way that you see how you produce and how you build your team around you in producing and productions. I produced a feature film over the summer, and super cool. Every morning, everybody circled up and we prayed.
That's so awesome.
Cool.
I know that's not every that's not every film. That's not every set experience, but it was super important to the production team and the directors and the EP and everybody involved that was the tone they were going to set.
Yeah.
And you have the ability to do that if you choose per project, per your company, type vibe. So it's really cool to get to sit with somebody else that has the same idea of seeing that, or understanding that we have those choices to bring on who you want to bring on the team.
Yeah, and especially when you're working on a feature, I mean, you're spending a lot of time together. So whether you're hating your day or loving your day has a lot to do with the people you're working with.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? I mean, so, I mean, what was that like? I don't know if I ever even asked you that, so, excuse me, on your first shoot. And as I remember, we were working with the largest advertising agency in San Diego for a client called Mystic Tan.
Correct, yeah.
It was the spray tan booths.
Yep.
It was Mystic Tan.
Yeah.
And like we said, for us, the best thing was baptism by fire. We I didn't know, and that's how I learned, and good or bad, that's what, only the way I knew how to teach it or show anybody anything. Yeah. So I said, well, just get ready to have a phone duct taped to your ear for the next week. That's what it's going to look like. And we just jumped into it.
Well, we probably produced it for like 2 months.
Probably.
I forget. Yeah, we did casting too. Yeah, we did everything. I mean, other than the creative came from the agency. Yep. And when I walked on set, I had no idea what was I didn't even know the client was gonna be there, like the ad agency. So I probably half ignored them the whole time. And now that would be my most important relationship. But I didn't know what I didn't know. That was a surprise to me that they were gonna be there, totally green.
That's right.
Knew nothing. And but I don't know, I just always had I don't know, the skill set of producing, you kind of have a skill set of, I guess you call it project managing or whatever, just making things happen. And that the business mind's a part of it.
Yeah.
So you can bring that to a lot of different industries.
That's
true.
You
just have to learn the language and the way how things work.
Yes.
But you can then apply it.
And that's what I saw.
So that's
on her.
that's kind of the natural side of it. Okay, I did have that, but I didn't
did.
have the knowledge of the industry yet.
But you gained it. You're such a quick learn. You're smart. And so that's what I always saw in her is that side, that project management, that logistics, that just she puts her mind to something. This thing is happening. So I was like, that's what every production needs right there. And of course she's just, how long have you been doing it now? How long has it been?
I think our first one was 2010, so 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part?
So I was thinking about that. I heard you ask somebody else that. So I was thinking about that. So I'll have to say two. The people. Okay. Yes. I love the people. We have certain people that we always work with in San Diego, or at least try to, when we're in California, that are kind of our crew. And we just did, I feel like it was but it was about, no, it was I guess a while ago, did a shoot back in California, and we hired all our old crew, everybody that we worked with. And they were so nostalgic about it that we were all coming together to do a shoot, and everybody was it was just a big family reunion, and the crew even called it that. So that I love, that you just get to create that in your on your set, kind of a family atmosphere. And then we'd always, we love the Lord, so we'd always end up somehow ministering to somebody during a set. So that kind of stuff, we are who we are. Yeah. Obviously, we got our job done, but we are who we are wherever we go.
Sure. For sure.
And then the second aspect, I just love the business side of it. I love analyzing business and making it profitable. I love the number side of it, all of that, and then tackling a project and getting it done, Yeah. So something about I don't know if I would even love it as much if it was always the same thing was continuing, but knowing that a project has an end date.
Right.
And then that's I don't know, a bone.
Yeah.
It's not that typical it's not a grind because it's always changing.
Yeah, it's always a project.
The same form is there. Your lights, the mics, stands. That's the tools are there. Yeah. But it's always a different thing you're painting.
Different story. Project. It's different. Even though some of your crew stays the same, but inevitably you always have some different crew.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Your crew, half crew change, half crew stays. If you're lucky to keep that much congruency in your crew. But I think it's super cool that, let's see, we shot in Tennessee, and we had people from Vegas, LA, Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, all working on the same film and project for 2 months.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm probably missing a couple of states too, but you know, I think that's so cool. A really cool thing, because then that same kind of group can pick up and go, you know, wherever you're going to shoot the next film or the next, you know, commercial or whatever storyline you're going to be telling. So I think that's a really cool thing about what we get to do and the connections you make across the U.S., you know?
There's so many, you know, there's so many kinds of relationships that you have, but there's so many, there's the kinds of relationships with the crew and with the client. Like for, in our case, like for the advertising agencies, it's a real different environment. She was talking about all the people on the set, but people who don't know, right? So it's not just like you got your director, producer, and your crew and your actors and you're shooting a script. You have bosses on the set.
Yeah.
So we would have, as a production company, an advertising agency has hired us to come and shoot a commercial for Asics shoes or Yoshinoya, whoever the client is. You know, this advertising agency has hired us. So now we have like probably 4 or 5 people from an advertising agency there, a producer, an art director, a writer, various people from the advertising agency, and then their client is there too. So now you have, you know, a couple executives from Asics marketing department or whatever, who are coming to make sure. And you talk about, I mean,
it adds definitely another nuance to the whole game, because sometimes they will actually jump in and butt in and start like directing the. I just remember like one specific shoot where they jumped in and then started like directing the talent when they should not have directed. They were just making it worse.
It's not, and you're not doing that to be rude. It's for their benefit. They've hired you to do what, you know, they've asked you to do, and you know, and you're there to do it. But they're also, the pressure is there because they're managing their brand. Everything that you're doing, like if we're shooting food shots for IHOP, you know, which we did, then they have their executive chef there making sure that the syrup is the right color on camera. It's appearing the right way because it matters to them. That is their brand. That's where they're making hundreds of millions of dollars off of it. So they have a right to say it, but you know, so it's just this
learning the chain of commands.
It's a very interesting.
It's a learning that, you know, how does that work on set? Because it looks like a hot mess. Like sets are a hot mess. I mean, there's people everywhere. There's stuff everywhere, and you know, there's
like perfect order, yet it looks like a hot mess.
Yes, exactly. And so it's learning what that perfect order is. You know, and how it flows and how it works and all that. Here at the studio, we're actually in Studio 1. Just behind us, this way on set, is a huge wall that goes up like 30 feet. And at the top of it, there is a control room up there, which is everybody that's making this sound good, look good, and all that's all sitting there watching us and switching live and doing everything. That is what we call like the bird's nest, so that producers and all those people can go watch from up there, but they're not actually on set. Allowing the creatives to do their job. And if they have something to say about it, then they can communicate from up there, and then someone can come in on staff and, you know, talk to the director or whatnot.
And that's a beautiful thing, because not all studios have that.
True.
So you might have them like right there.
Yes, correct.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
Very true. Many times I have had 3 or 4 bosses next to me in the director's chair, looking at the same monitor as as they're all.
No pressure.
No pressure. So that's the way it goes. I mean, let's talk about, and feel free to, you know, interject here. Let's talk about some of the, you know, I don't want to say crazy, but crazy, fun clients that we might have had experiences, you know, over the years, like with some of these ones. I know one client in my mind stands out as giving us the craziest work over the years.
Oh my gosh. So much fun.
You know who it is?
Nature Vet?
Yeah.
These are all our like animal shoots that we've done with animals.
And like real animals, not like, it's not like a saying or something.
Yeah, like animal talent. No, not just animals, but animal talent that are like trained to take commands and act in a studio environment. At least they're supposed to be trained.
If they stay alive. There's a story there.
Oh my gosh, the one he's referring to. We were shooting in San Diego. This was a big TV commercial. And we're doing oh my gosh. What was the name of the product? Basically, it's to
out
make
of my box.
Out of my box. It's like a little chewable thing that you can give your dog so that they don't go and eat what's in your kitty litter box.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, we're always getting educated on things we had no idea about.
Existed.
But apparently, there's a major issue with cats eating dog feces
No, the
and
other way
dogs
around.
eating cat.
Oh, both ways? This was the dog eating cat.
I don't remember now.
Yeah. No,
It's bad either way.
Either way, it's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah,
You're right. It was the dog. It was the
dog
right.
eating the kitty litter box.
It's the problem was with dog eating cat crap. And yeah, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So this stuff.
Yeah, it's like a natural supplement that you give them that it tastes. I mean, I didn't taste it, but they like it. Something they would like.
Yes.
I did not taste it. That for somehow makes them not crave, like want to eat it. So
Yeah, it makes
so that's what we're shooting.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
is fun.
So we have a bulldog.
Yep.
An English, was it an English bulldog? I think an English
think
bulldog
so.
who's literally oh my gosh, why are all our things always go into this line of humor? But who's farting through the whole shoot?
Oh no.
The dog.
The dog.
The whole time. So the set smells like dog fart
Oh.
all day.
And the animal trainer's apologizing. Sorry, it's the dog.
Like, sure. We're not hiring back.
But the cutest dog. It was great. And then, but we had hired this, and we have certain animal trainers that we work with that are excellent. Like they're actually like animal talent agents.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
They are.
What do you think? They are amazing.
Yeah.
And they're dear people. But anyways, we had hired through them this beautiful looking Bengal cat, like gorgeous.
Spotted.
Oh, wow.
So it's supposed to be like a bigger cat,
Yes.
spotted, just like gorgeous looking cat. And the opening shot is that cat coming down the stairs.
Can I just preface though?
Yeah.
These guys work with these animals for weeks. Like these animals are getting paid way more than the talent.
Oh yeah.
It's easy to pay $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for 2 dogs for 2 days.
Oh yeah.
But because they're so trained to do exactly what you want them to do. So just as a preference.
So my dog doesn't count, or
No.
No.
Your dog would like.
No.
I was about to hire it out.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah, I
there's
was
some
about
good
to.
money there.
Yeah.
For sure.
No.
But it's also all the time that goes into training.
That's
them.
right. That's
Mhm.
right.
But anyway, so the opening scene is with the cat, and there's other scenes with the cat, the Bengal cat too. So I get to the set, greet everybody, meet the animal talent, like the trainers, the agents, and all of that. And I look at the cat, and I'm like, this is not the same cat.
Oh,
Like
no.
it's smaller. It's a Bengal cat, but it's smaller. Come to find out, the cat had died. Our original animal talent had died, like literally a couple days before. And, and I understand why they wouldn't want to tell me because, the producer, because, but they had gotten another one.
Okay.
Who's
Did they
smaller.
tell you on the day of?
On the day of.
They
I
did
found
tell
out on
you.
the day of. Yeah, but there's nothing you can do at that point.
Yeah.
It's
Nope,
like,
nope.
we're going with this cat.
And I'm
Yes.
wondering why it takes. How many takes? 40?
No, it was
30 some?
insane.
Like,
So this cat is small now. So it's like not even the same effect now when you put it next to the bulldog, right? Because there's a scene where the bulldog's afraid of the cat and the cat's going like,
Yeah.
and it just didn't really come across the same. But anyways, that cat has never been on set before. That was its first time on set. So it's terrified of all the cameras and the lights and the moving pieces and all the people in the room. And it's taken us 2 hours to do this first shot of the cat coming down the stairs. It was like, like that moment when like the whole air is just like there's so much pressure and
Yes.
stress and everybody's feeling it. And the client's up there and they're sweet. And I'm just like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
it's like, I remember the bulldog is like laying on the floor in front of the camera. And then the cat is supposed to come down the stairs and go by it.
Yeah.
And then the bulldog puts his head up and runs off. So it's kind of a hero shot. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But the bulldog was great.
Oh,
did everything it was supposed to do.
Sparred it a lot.
Stinking.
Sorry.
Sounds like his job was really hard.
It was
It's really exhausting.
really tough job. But it was.
He laid there and picked his head up and just relaxed. Literally.
He did his thing.
Oh my gosh.
But the stories that come from, productions and the things you don't think about when trying to capture that 10-second shot of a cat walking down the stairs, of how long that actually takes and what all goes into getting that shot to create the story, even to like the size of the cat, how you're trying to tell the story. I think we said on another episode that the way that you visually look at things to create a story, how everything matters in the frame, like to tell that story, because you don't have words.
Yeah.
You're saying it through
It's a visual
visuals.
medium, especially like in this commercial world where you only have 30 seconds to tell a story. It's got to be precise. It's got to be exact. You have chosen the perfect words. Everything is there on purpose.
The details, like the cat, like you're saying, it didn't translate because you're trying to say, you're trying to send a message with the size of the animals, with the type of the animals, with the kind of animals,
all true.
the speed of the animals, just all of that. And I think the common viewer doesn't understand that, but recognizes it. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's our job to think of every single one of those details.
That's right.
And nail all of them, on point.
Right.
On all of them.
Because we couldn't just get another trained cat, because on the product itself is a Bengal cat on all of their products and all of Petco's and PetSmarts and all these places. So it has everything has this chain of what it affects all the way down the the line. That same client has given us the most crazy things. I think our first product we shot with them was called Grass Saver.
Grass Saver, yeah.
And it was literally a wafer you give a dog, that when you give the dog the wafer, its urine doesn't kill your grass anymore. Everything we've done.
Like those brown or yellow spots in grass that you see from dogs.
It stops after you give them this natural product.
Oh.
I mean,
I need it. What is this product? I feel like I need this product.
I know, right?
Great Grass Saver by nature.
Really turbs me.
Yes.
But
Hey, sold at Petco and PetSmart.
Well, now.
So funny.
We shot No Scoot for them.
Yes.
A product that keeps your dog from scooting its little butt around the floor. Another product. All these products.
Have to train the dog to do that.
Yep. Wow. So when you get a quote from a trainer,
do you have one where they eat it and they don't go to the bathroom in the house, like a potty training drink?
I don't know.
I feel like we need to talk to this company and see if they could.
They are pretty brilliant.
They
do
could do
a lot
that
of
one.
good stuff.
Yeah, they do. Maybe so. Maybe so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I just think it's super cool that y'all have, been able to produce so many things. I know one time, and I don't know if Pauliina was in on this one, I called you and you were dangling, or you were dangling somebody off of the side of the building.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
She produced that. Yeah.
Yeah, window cleaning something or another.
Yeah. So this was fun too, because I got a call from our ad agency client in California, and they wanted me to bid for this job, and I did, and then they're like, okay, yeah, we want you to do it. So then we get on calls with them, and they want a window washer to hang from a skyscraper, which is great. Obviously, your producer mind goes into like the million problems you need to solve.
Safety may be the first one.
Right.
Yeah.
And then who is going to let somebody just shoot that from their skyscraper? That is usually like location.
Yeah.
So we go into like research mode. Okay, I'm like, okay, and they're in California, like this agency. It's like, okay, Cal OSHA does not allow you to do that.
Yeah.
You have to be on the platform.
Yeah.
That they don't even allow you to do that. So I was like, but we could shoot it in Texas. We can do it here.
Yeah.
So we split the shoot. We did the studio shoot in California, and then did that actual skyscraper scene and or that whole shebang in Houston by the airport. and just the creative ways. I mean, like that was like my number one concern. I was like, how on earth are we going to find a building that's going to allow us to do that? So just the creative ways that you have to like. So we went through the window washing company, see what they have connections with. And then you gotta
make sure that because you have talent in studio you're shooting, who's supposed to mimic look the same with the guy out there. So he's got to have the same build and the same hair color. And he's saying the voiceover in California, but the guy on the skyscraper is like saying it to a drone camera flying around him. So you got to marry all that together. Somebody says, how did they do that shot? I'm like, that was probably like 10 shots brought together by so many different ways you don't realize. You know, when you see that.
And then the whole thing of like, where can you fly with the drones? And
the building was across the street from the airport.
Oh.
So that made it easy.
Yeah. Lovely.
So, yeah, you have to work with FAA. FAA? Yeah. I get that confused with Future Farmers Association and Federal Aviation. I get them confused. Same thing.
Well, but it went great.
Yeah.
It went really well.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
It went really well.
Yeah. It was like, in the end, it was really effortless.
Yeah. So if your favorite part of the production or being a producer is the people and building the community in it, what's your least favorite part of producing?
Post-production. I like have no patience and interest in that part. Sorry. No offense to any editors out, but like way too tedious for me. I'm ready to move on to the next project by at that time.
Yeah.
I think Kelley agrees because he used to edit a lot.
I'm like, I don't even like, I'm after production, I'm done. I'm like, send me drafts. I'll make notes, but I'm done. I'm like, it's just like,
I can do notes.
Thankfully, we're in the commercial world, and it's only going to last a few days anyway. The edit's going to, it's not like a film. It's going for months and months and months. Your post, but still, we're pretty much done after.
Yeah. So I love it when the client's like, oh, we'll take care of post. I'm like, thank you. That's great.
Yeah.
We don't have to do post.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating how if you're new to the industry listening or learning about the industry listening, how you have pre-production, the different categories of production, right? Because you hear production.
Right.
And then in your mind, you think, oh, that's like cameras and, all this.
Right.
Now that's on-set production, pre-production.
Right.
You got your small window of the filming days.
Right.
And then you've got post-production. And then you've got distribution or delivery of whatever it is that you've done, all the different areas.
It's a huge process.
It is a long process. There's lots of months, weeks that it takes to do it in each area. And I tell people all the time, oh yeah, cameras are only rolling for like a very tiny part. That's why there is such high pressure in it, because you only have so many days. Your days are so expensive.
Right.
And your days are so precisely planned out. But pre-production is months and months and months, if not years. I mean, it depends on what your feature films, commercials, depends on the content that you're creating.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
One of our episodes that we had, one of the guys was saying, we wanted to challenge ourselves as a film company to do a film for $50,000 in 10 days and not running 12-hour days, but running a 6 to 8 hour day. Whoa. So basically it's cutting your production down to 5 days, right? And do that in basically 5 days worth of time, which is what we would all normally shoot in a 12-hour day. And they were like, I go, okay, I hear it all out, right? And then I'm like, what was your pre-production? Because in order to pull that off, your pre-production's got to be so spot on.
Sure. They actually did it?
They did it.
Wow.
They did it. And they've put it out, and it's releasing in, I think, a couple of months or something like that.
On Discovery? Or is it the Discovery one, or is that the Tubi one?
Nope, that may be Tubi one.
Tubi, okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And so, just really cool to hear how people have refined the process, worked the process, what works different for everybody, and how they do this. And I think, obviously feature films are different than if you're doing a commercial, and whether you're doing every aspect of it. But there's also that, you can be hired for just one part of production.
Totally.
That's true.
Yeah.
And partner with another production.
And frankly, that's really how I started before Pauliina. And one of those aspects is I was a director for hire. Mm-hmm. And so production companies would come and hire me to come and direct their production for an advertising agency.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, the advertising agency space for production is super competitive, because you're talking huge brands, hundreds of millions of dollars. Commercials are very expensive. And so they can have a director that is very niched.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a director that works with food, that's good with children, has done special effects, and is good with comedy. All is one director. That will be the order for the director. And there's so many directors out there. They'll find one that is specifically good for that.
Yeah.
And you can. And so that's who they would bring me on. Or if I have experience with kids, I have experience with food, I have experience with animals. So there's certain niches that I would fit in. She's
Lots of animals.
She's like, great. Yeah. Thanks. And why couldn't you just like, I don't know, clothes, animals. No, but that's where my niche was. And so that's what I got hired a lot for. And then I just saw a lot of money left on the table.
Yeah.
And frankly, I wanted to do more. And I'm like, as a director, I have to be there on every single production because they're hiring Kelley Leger, the director.
Yeah.
If we're a production company, we could have other directors, or we could have other people doing jobs for us as a production company.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily have to direct everyone. So we formed into a production company and began to do that, we were able to do that. There was a point in time where I think Pauliina was in Europe somewhere.
I was in Europe. You were in Africa.
I was in Africa. And we had a production going on
in California.
We were produced. Yeah, we were producing. Somebody else was directing.
Yeah, and we never were there.
We were never there. I'm like,
the whole thing.
The dream.
That was the dream. And we were both ministering. We were both preaching the gospel.
Yep.
And then I remember my husband are doing services. So service is going on. Worship is already started. In the middle of worship, I go and take phone calls from the producer in California, like giving him info, helping him to get the going. And then I go and minister, So, but it was like, that was the dream.
So be nice to that person you see leaving church, in the middle of church. Where are you going? You got to doing something important.
Yeah. So, but that was the dream, because we were able to like work from anywhere and keep everything going and do what's like what our passion is in our heart,
That's right.
And do it all.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's great.
That was it.
That is so awesome. Well, I feel like we've sat with family today, and I feel like we should all just give a big hug at the end of this deal, right? With y'all working together for so long and creating some magic in this world, and appreciative for all your gifts that you have brought to the industry, used in the industry, and are continuing to use in the industry. If people wanted to follow what y'all have got going on or what you're doing, where would they go? What would they look into to kind of see some of y'all's work?
Invasionproductions.com is our website. Yeah. Invasion, social media.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Hashtag, whatever the symbol is on Instagram. That little thingy, Invasion. At Invasion Productions. Invasionsproductions.com. Yeah, that's right.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, go check out their work. Throw some loves, throw some support their way. And thank you for coming on.
Thank you. This was so much fun.
And we do work in Houston, not just California. I know we talked a lot about it, but just saying.
I know.
Yes.
California was the roots.
That's right.
Houston's where we're at.
That's it.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
This was fun.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to see you next time on Set Live from For the One Studio. In Studio One, it's Kelley Leger, Amber Buto, and Pauliina Meli. See you next time.